follow up with Jim with Turbulent Studios. How have things been going since you opened up the studio when we last talked?
Well, it's been a year.
Almost to the day?
No. Well, it was around the end of June, I think I opened it. So it's been a year. I've done quite a few projects. It's been really good. It was funny. I was sitting there and I was realizing it was coming up on a year, and I was like, shit. I've worked with a lot of people this year.
Nice.
And, so yeah, it's been good.
What has been your favorite project? I know you shouldn't play favorites, but...
Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, what have you recently done then?
I just finished up the new Cactus Attack EP.
Yeah.
They just picked up the master, done by Jay DeLuca at the Bears Den. Plug-in Jay. He's my man now. And they just picked it up about an hour before you got here.
Now, to move on to the podcast, because that's kind of become a new homestead for the studio, when did you guys start talking about possibly doing a podcast?
New Year's.
Was it?
Yeah, it was new. Remember we said, we're going to do all kinds of shit this year. 2013 is going to be the most productive year ever.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then I kind of had the idea to do it, and I approached Tom, and I said, hey, you want to do this? Let's do like a media podcast. All things media, we'll keep it lax, and won't get too detailed, so, you know, we can have a broader audience and stuff like that, and it's just been not exploding, but I definitely think we're getting some followers at least.
We have some cool people on this.
Yeah, we definitely have some really cool guests.
I met some cool people doing this.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy does the film stuff, and I do the audio stuff, and we kind of try to merge the worlds. The world's emerging. And I kind of, you know, I bring up my studio, and he brings up Town Films, and we try to have guests on that kind of coincide with the topic we're going to be talking about that day. And but like I said, we kind of try to keep it broad, so people aren't like, what the hell is 32-bit float? I don't know.
Yeah. Try not to dive too deep into it, but still, you know, maintain that little edge.
Yeah, because Tom, you guys put a lot of humor into it as well, especially once it gets off of the subject of what you guys work on.
Yeah, and going into it, we really didn't want it to be a dry thing. We wanted it to have some comic relief.
Yeah. And do you find like that being explicit during the show helps, hurts, or not really anything in between? It's just like an element of the show.
Fun.
Yeah.
Explicit? What do you mean by explicit?
It's fucking fun.
Oh, like that kind of okay. No, it's a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a gosh darn good time.
Gosh darn it. Alright, so here's some good questions for you guys. Obviously, Jim, we've talked about this before, but what are your guys' favorite bands and why, and when did you start getting into them?
I don't know anymore. I work with so much music now that it's hard to pinpoint a favorite band. I mean, I always have my go-to bands, I guess I'd call them. I have like my top 3 bands that I'll always kind of go back to. Porcupine Tree, Radiohead, and Tool. Those are my top 3 probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I go to Primus always as like my favorite band because it was just something I ended up stumbling upon.
Yeah, I go back to Primus a lot too.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, I really enjoy it as a bass player, so someone I used to play bass a lot more than I do now, but, you know.
Yeah, you need to get on that, you lazy shit.
I know. I was playing today.
It has been the best concert that either of you have been to ever.
I think it was probably Primus in Brooklyn.
I was going to say, yeah, probably Brooklyn, maybe Primus at the Orpheum.
I like Brooklyn better. The atmosphere was better.
Yeah, Brooklyn was.
It was right outside. It was on the water. It was awesome.
Yeah, Skyline.
Even Les was like, "Look at this. Look at this right here."
Look at this.
I will say Interpol was a great show too.
I didn't go to that.
Fantastic show. Like they were spot on.
So I mean, working in the media, I guess you kind of you get desensitized to it. I'd say, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you're working with, like, you know, I have bands come in here, and someday they could be famous bands, but they'll still be my, you know, people I work with. They're my friends, and, you know, I work with them, and even if they're millionaires down the road, they're still people, you know? And it just kind of teaches you that they're people.
People, yeah. I guess there's a couple of different perspectives. It's either knowing someone before they're, you know, a giant hit, and then meeting someone who is a giant hit. There's a bit of a difference, and depending on how much they impact you as a person also is just dependent on how, you know, how much you're into it.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be someone famous, it doesn't have to be anybody like that.
True. So I guess So I guess maybe to clarify my thought process then, like since you guys work in media, do you find that music and movies and everything else has more power to you or less now that you're on that side of the fence?
I think it's still, I still listen to music sometimes where I'm like, wow, this is not really good, or I'd really like to meet these people. Like I'm not just like, I don't sit there and go, oh, it's just another band,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I said, it's like an inspiration.
I know it's hard. I'm sure this is the same for you, but I know with me, I can't listen to an album as a stereophile anymore. I pick the crap out of it.
Yeah, you get super analytical. So
and I'm sure you do that with film.
Yeah, it happens.
With lighting and...
Yeah, exactly. Well, when it's like...
crappy ADR.
Well, it's always the best when you don't even notice that kind of stuff, like when the movie can suspend your disbelief for as long as it possibly can. That's it's a gift to be able to do that. Fat, and we're here, and we're fat.
Talking to you, or are we talking to the
you talk at me. You talk at me over here.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
Hi! It'll be a little scroll.
Yeah.
Tom's penis hurts really badly.
Like wicked bad.
Wicked bad. Just wicked bad. If you don't want me to, I can be off the record if you want.
You can cut however you want.
Okay.
Full permission to cut.
We have no shame.
I'll make a YouTube poop out of it so it's just like all like, oh my god. Wait a minute. That's awesome.
I was reading the that recording review website I showed you with Brandon Jury.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this article today. I forgot what he was talking about, but he mentioned penis anger. And I laughed.
What do you mean by penis anger? How do you use it?
He said don't ask me what it means. He just said.
Just got like type out.
So he said some people get mad and they just get like penis anger. Don't ask me what that means.
All right.
But
that's not fair.
you have to read the article.
Don't ask what that means.
It was funny when I read.